guys, it's Ziwi again, and today I want to tell you an interesting story, to say the least. I still remember being around 7 or 8 years old and going with my father to buy a new game for the console, a Nintendo Wii. And if it was a completely different paradigm of gaming at the time. It introduced motion sensors that the games could be played with. And while listing the catalog of games there at the store, we were introduced to a game called Endless Ocean 2, it was. And I wasn't really that interested. I wanted some classics like the Excalibur. But my father was always a fan of the sea and diving, and he liked watching documentaries on those topics, and he almost made me buy it. And I bought some few other games and went home happy and excited to play them, completely forgetting the Endless Ocean game. And that was until one day when I finally decided to give it a try, and man was I hooked. It was a completely different game than anything other I have ever played. And it isn't a game for everyone. It is slower paced, it is kind of educational, it isn't action packed that much. For some reason it clicked with me. And from that day on, because I was living in a landlocked country, that game not only became a way of relaxation for me and meditation in some sort, but it became a window to a completely new world for me, unseen before that. And I have played it many times when I was a child, discovering new species of fish, building my own aquariums, going on dives. Also just listening to the music in the game. And I started dreaming of one day doing that same thing. We didn't go on vacation at the sea every single year. I, for some reason, kind of lost that drive for diving. Until one day I saw the scuba club at the pool I was going with my family to. And that kind of reignited that same joy in me for diving. And I decided to, at 16 years of age, join the scuba club and get certified. I learned all the rules, I got familiar with the equipment, with all the necessary knowledge needed to go on dives, safety procedures. But for some reason, the purpose of getting yourself equipped to go diving completely killed the central idea of exploring the underwater world. It was so complex, it was extremely heavy equipment, you felt like you're in a cage while diving, and it just wasn't as I imagined it to be. But then I was recommended a few videos of people diving on their breath and free diving, and it was at around the same time that my family was thinking of going to a more exotic location for their vacation that summer. After a small persuasion by me, we decided to go to Egypt. And I decided it was time for an adventure. And Egypt was a location that I always wanted to visit. It was a whole new country, hell, it was a whole different continent. But what got me intrigued the most was the Red Sea, which is one of the greatest diving locations in the whole world, and only one that was at least kind of close to us. And even though this new culture was a unique experience, as I already mentioned, it was kind of overshadowed by the sea that I wanted to visit and explore. And we went to Luxor, visited the temples there. I went to see the Nile, and there were many scuba diving clubs that you could ask to go diving. But I decided to just try free diving on my own breath. And I was practicing holding my breath in my room, laying on my bed, playing with certain apps that could increase your O2 or decrease CO2 levels and breathing exercises. I was able to hold my breath for a pretty long time. And for some reason, diving without the tanks felt so much more natural and almost as the way that it should be done. Of course, people don't have to agree with me. That is just my outlook on this matter. I went diving with the dolphins in the dolphin reefs by a boat, and the house reef in our hotel was great, particularly because I was looking for that when picking the destination point. It was in the middle part, almost, of the Egyptian Red Sea coast, so not so much up north where the touristy areas are. And diving at one breath felt so kind of meditative, and exactly the silent world that the documentary of Jacques Cousteau bears its name from. And to my own surprise, we got a chance to go to a second destination that same year and even that same month. And I decided it was time for an adventure. And although the Montenegro and Adriatic wasn't as interesting in terms of marine life as the Red Sea, I enjoyed it almost the same. And then I realized that although the Red Sea was extremely interesting in terms of marine life, the corals, the rock formations, the completely different climate and physical geography, what I truly enjoyed was just the feel of diving. It felt freeing. You don't even feel the gravity, you feel like you're in space. And I also recorded some of the marine life I encountered during that trip, and I'll incorporate it also in this video montage. I still have some souvenirs from the Red Sea. This is a guide to all the fish you can encounter, and I was taking it everywhere with me. And that year it really took me back and reignited all the memories of me playing the Endless Ocean game. At one point in life I almost wanted to become a marine biologist because of my obsession with that, and I'll show you I have a map of all the sharks that exist right here over my PC. So I hope you enjoy this short story. I hope you can share some of your dreams with me, or some of the childhood dreams you had. Anyways, this complete evolution of my fascination, the ocean and the sea, did culminate in that experience, but I hope I get the chance to experience it many times again. I also feel extremely grateful for my parents, my mother that took me there, and my father who started this whole thing. Transition from my scuba obsession to the world of freediving maybe even shows you that sometimes just the one deep breath is all that you really need. See ya.